Hey everybody, Ash here for the Triple S League, and welcome to another Dishonored 2 combat guide. Today I'm going to be looking at non-lethal combat tactics. Now, Dishonored 2 promised to give us a lot more options for our non-lethal tactics for taking down enemies than the first game, and they did deliver on that promise. So there are actually quite a few ways that you can use to take down your enemies non-lethally without being locked into a stealth playthrough. If you like combat, but you still want to go for low chaos, or, go for Merciful or clean hands, you can do that. You can go completely Daredevil, still beat the crap out of people, but not kill anyone in the process. So your most basic non-lethal technique is the chokehold. Just sneak up behind your enemy and press your block button. It's very stealthy, very quiet. It's also very slow. If somebody sees you while you're doing this, you could wind up being in a lot of trouble. In fact, they'll keep attacking even if you're holding one of their one of their allies, and they'll often wind up killing their own allies that way if you're not careful, and that will count as a kill against you. As you can see, total kills 1, whereas I had 0 before. So that is something that is generally only very effective against a single enemy if you're going for a non-lethal approach. But it actually does have some combat uses as well. One thing you can do while choking out an enemy is to throw them. So press and hold your block button to choke them, press your attack button to throw them. They will lose their balance. If you can get to them before they get up, press your block button again, you'll kick them down and knock them unconscious. It's very noisy though, as you can see. I've got people attacking me. Now the kick move doesn't only apply if you've used the choke throw. It applies to any situation where you've managed to knock your enemy onto the ground. If you can get to them fast enough, you can knock them out with a kick by just pressing your block button. If you find yourself under attack while you're choking out an enemy, you can throw them at your attacker, cause them to stagger, and give yourself a chance to escape. By the way, though, it's always a very good idea to be constantly looking at your stats and making sure your total kills are still 0 if you're going for clean hands or for Merciful, because it's very easy to accidentally kill people, and sometimes your enemies will kill each other by accident, and that'll count as a kill against you. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Before you save, make sure there's no kills on your record, so that you don't wind up having to redo a whole bunch of stuff. You can also engage the choke while you're in combat. If you block while your enemy is attacking, you throw them off balance for a moment. And you can use that opportunity to kill them, or if you use your block button instead of your attack button, you'll do the non-lethal takedown instead of an assassination. And you can, do whatever you want with it at that point. You can just beat the crap out of everybody. There's a few other basic techniques. You can use sleep darts. If you upgrade them to combat sleep darts, then they'll knock out your enemy immediately, even in combat. You can use stun mines. These can be a lot of fun. If you upgrade them, you can get multiple charges out of each mine, which makes it very easy to take down a whole bunch of hostiles in a short period of time. And they all just lay around snoring. Now let's talk about some stuff that might not be as obvious. One technique that's good to know is if you're sprinting, and while you're sprinting, you press your crouch key, you perform a slide. If you crouch slide into an enemy, you'll be given an attack prompt. One of the things you can do is knock them unconscious. You could also assassinate them if you choose. So that's one of several situations where it all depends what button you push. If you push your attack button, it'll assassinate them. If you push your block button, it'll knock them unconscious. Same thing happens with the drop assassination. Drop assassination, if you push your block button instead of your attack button, you knock your target unconscious, very brutally, but it doesn't count as a kill. This is a very effective technique to use on stairs. If you can get your enemies to chase you onto a set of stairs, you can just, you know, repeatedly pound their heads into the pavement. Try not to get hit as much as I'm getting hit here, but... Anyway, so if you're being chased by a bunch of enemies, that's one way you can deal with them without getting any kills. Now, another thing you can do is use one of the many, many throwable objects in the game, like whiskey tumblers, or empty bottles, or glasses, to knock your enemies out. If you manage to hit them in the head, you can knock them unconscious. Now, this is probably my favorite technique, probably because it's just so satisfying if you manage to land a direct hit from a distance. Oh, we got a 2-for-1. Holy. In order to do this, you have to upgrade strength under your enhancements. And it says here, unaware enemies can generally be knocked out if hit in the head by thrown objects. But with this upgrade, it's possible even in combat. Now, I actually had to get the second strength upgrade before I was able to knock people unconscious. That could be because I'm playing on hard difficulty, so that the NPCs have more resistance to damage. With only the initial strength upgrade, I wasn't even able to knock out unaware guards from like 3 feet away. So, just keep a note on that. If you're playing on an easier difficulty, you might be able to do it with just the first upgrade. I had to get the second one. But the second one is handy to get anyway because it lets you smash doors and stuff, which is a lot of fun. So far we've discussed basic techniques that don't involve any special powers or magic. Now let's talk about some of the magical abilities that can really assist you if you're doing a non-lethal playthrough. If you're playing as Emily, the #1 power I recommend getting is Domino. A Domino, basically you can link, depending on how far you upgrade it, you can link a number of enemies together, and a common fate befalls them all. So I'm going to link 3 of these people together. I'm going to link that guy, that lady, and that dude right there. Now, whatever I do to one will happen to all 3 of them. Whether it's, you know, if I kill one, all 3 will die. If I knock one unconscious, the other 2 will go for a little nap. So this can be used in combat to quickly dispatch a bunch of people that you're fighting. You can see, knock that guy out, the other 2 go down. You could link an enemy up to a civilian who's not at all dangerous. Knock out the civilian, you know, and it'll take down your enemy who would otherwise be hostile towards you. You could domino a bunch of people together and then put down some stun mines and get a lot of extra mileage out of your stun mines. Lots of different ways that you can combine all these techniques and get some different outcomes. Another one of Emily's powers that's very helpful in a non-lethal playthrough is Shadow Walk. Once again, you can either assassinate or knock unconscious, up to you, depending on if you push the attack or the block button. And if you upgrade it, you can attack multiple times. Like here I'm attacking twice. You can upgrade it. I could upgrade it a 3rd time to attack 3 times before I leave shadow mode. Finally, I'm going to talk about Emily's Pull Enemies power, which is an upgrade of Far Reach. Basically allows you to use Far Reach to lock onto an enemy, onto an NPC, and pull them toward you, at which point you can grab them and either kill them or choke them out. Be used in combat to be just like, hey, come here, I'm gonna knock you out now. Just be careful that you don't drop them, and make sure you catch them when they're flying toward you, because if you miss, well, unfortunate things can happen. Yeah, these guys are dead. And their buddies are pissed. While we're on the topic, though, you gotta be careful where you're throwing guys, just in general, because if you accidentally, like, throw them over a ledge, or cause them to hit their head too hard on something, you might wind up accidentally killing them completely without intending to. And if you haven't saved in a while, and you're going for that low chaos or no kills run, that could be a real pain. So just watch where you're throwing people. This is going to be especially important when we look at Corvo's powers in a second here. Corvo's got two powers I'm going to talk about. One is Blink Assault, and the way this works is that you aim your blink right at an enemy, and just as you're about to reach them, you press your attack button, and that delivers a kick that sends them flying. So you can use this to knock them down, and then get over there before they get back up, and you can kick them unconscious. Now this can sometimes just plain old knock them out, but it can just as easily kill them if you're not careful. I'm not sure what makes the difference between the kick knocking the guard unconscious or actually killing them. I don't know if it's the amount of damage they take, or if it's what they hit, or if it's what part of their body gets hit. But anyway, so just be careful, and always check to make sure that your enemy is actually unconscious and not dead before you go and save your game. Now, same thing with Wind Blast. Now, Wind Blast, you do not want to upgrade to Greater Wind Blast if you are going for a non-lethal playthrough. Shockwave is probably okay. I haven't tried it myself, but it's probably weak enough that it's not going to be killing your enemies. But if you get a Greater Wind Blast and throw your enemies into walls, that it's powerful enough to kill them. Anyway, Wind Blast is very handy because you can knock down multiple enemies. Just once again, be careful where you're throwing them. By the way, upgrading reflexes so that you can block incoming projectiles is very handy in any run, but especially in non-lethal. If you're not planning to shoot back, it's good to have a way to block bullets and bolts and various things. So I definitely recommend getting that one. So as you can see, there's a lot of ways to go about doing combat non-lethally that can make for a very fun playthrough of Dishonored 2 that still involves a lot of combat, a lot of action. There are lots of ways to combine the supernatural powers to create a lot of fun effects. And with New Game Plus coming out, it might even be out by the time you're watching this, New Game Plus will allow you to play with both Emily's and Corvo's powers, and so there will be even more ways to mix and match things that I'm sure there's a lot of interesting combos that are going to come out of that. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all of the comments and likes on the first couple of guides. If you haven't seen those, I encourage you to check them out. That's the How to Fight Clockwork Soldiers and How to Stealth Kill Clockwork Soldiers. Links to those in the description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you later. Hey everybody, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us out a ton when you do that. Check out this video. It's one of our favorite things that we've done so far on our channel. And here's some more stuff you might like. See the description below for links to our Sugar Bomb forum and our mods on Nexus Mods.